Hello, welcome back to my channel. Hey crafters, today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 tips that are going to take your amigurumi from something that makes people go, oh, did you make that? To, oh my god, you made that? All right, so let's jump straight into it. Tip number 1 is going to be to mix your methods. So what do I mean by mixing methods? I mean using things like embroidery and needle felting. I love using needle felting for my amigurumi because it gives me all of this freedom to make these really small, intricate details that I wouldn't otherwise be able to make with just traditional amigurumi, just doing it through crochet alone. So for example, I have 2 dolls that I made. We have our Tiny Tan Jimin. He's the only one of the Tiny Tan BTS that I made that I still have. I gave all the other ones away. And then we have Rumi, which I'm still working on. This is still a work in progress because my daughter is obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters right now, and like low-key so am I. And she asked me to make this Rumi doll, so I am in the process of making it. But as you can see, these 2 have a lot of really fine details that you're just not going to be able to get with crochet alone. So especially looking at their eyes and things like that, you're able to get a lot of really fine details in using things like needle felting. Now you could also use embroidery to do eyes like this, but I prefer needle felting for stuff like that just because it gives me a lot more freedom. Now in terms of embroidery, how embroidery works in, all of the patterns on Rumi's skin and all of the details on Jimin's jacket are all done using embroidery as opposed to color changes in crochet. So learning those mixed methods is really going to take your amigurumi to the next level. Now, for those of you who are like, well, I don't know how to embroider and I don't know how to needle felt, that's where the sponsor of today's video can help you out. Craftsy. Craftsy is your online resource for all things creative. It's built for curious, imaginative makers who want to keep learning, trying new things, and getting inspired. Craftsy has over 2,000 easy-to-follow classes in everything from crochet, knitting, and quilting, to baking, painting, jewelry making, even woodworking, and my other personal passion, gardening. Classes are led by award-winning instructors and broken into bite-sized lessons so you can learn at your own pace. I started with the Startup Library Hand Embroidery class by Kat McT. She walks you through everything step by step, so it's super approachable. This class has helped fill in the gaps in my embroidery skills and provided great inspiration to create beautiful embroidery in the future. I also love the Embellished Crochet class with Brenda K.B. Anderson. She teaches you how to embroider and needle felt directly onto your crochet, and the results are gorgeous. The class gave me so many new ideas for how to embellish crochet, and I can't wait to incorporate them in my next project. Craftsy is always creating new classes to keep you coming back for more and to help you stay inspired. The first 1,000 of you to click on the link in the video description or scan the QR code on the screen will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49, valid for new members only. Thank you so much, Craftsy, for sponsoring this video. Tip number 2. Don't be afraid to branch outside your traditional crochet supplies. All right, so this is my box of crochet supplies, and it's got a lot of things in here that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see in a box of crochet supplies. For example, this pet brush right here. This is one of my most used crochet supplies when it comes to amigurumi. So what do I use this for? There's a lot of things that you can use a pet brush for. The main thing that I like to use it for is making hair on my dolls. Believe it or not, all of this is yarn. So what I do is I just attach the yarn to my crocheted piece, and then I take this pet brush and I brush it out. That helps break apart all the plies of yarn and turn it into individual strands of fiber. Then I hit it with my next most used crochet supply, which is this hair straightener. So once I brushed out everything with the pet brush, I hit it with the hair straightener, and that smooths it down and creates this really nice, fine, shiny hair that does not look like yarn at all. This hair straightener I really like because it also has heat settings. So you put it just down on the lowest heat setting. Don't put it on the highest heat setting because if you're using acrylic yarn, remember that is plastic. And so if you do it on the highest heat setting, it is going to just melt. You want it to smooth out just a little bit, but you don't want it to melt. And that's where the hair straightener comes in. It's really, really handy for smoothing out yarn, getting it to lie flat, getting it to lie in different shapes. If you want to do curls or anything like that, you can do it using this hair straightener. I absolutely love both this pet brush and this hair straightener. These are some of my most used crochet supplies. The pet brush is also great for creating kind of like a furry look. So that's what I did with Labubu here. After I was done crocheting him, I hit it with the pet brush and I created this really kind of fuzzy look, and he's already dirty on the back because my child has loved this thing to death already. The next rather unusual supply that I use is blush, believe it or not. You don't have to use like cosmetic blush. You can use like any powdered artist pigment, anything like that as well. That will also work fine. But this is a great way to just add some color into the cheeks and just bring some life to your amigurumi. You can also use chalk pastels or anything like that. So it doesn't even have to be like this pink blush color. Let's say you want to have a little flush of blue or something like that. Using powdered artist pastels or an eyeshadow palette, any sort of powdered pigment can help add some little details and create little flushes of color where you want them, where changing your yarn color really would not give you the effect that you wanted. So apart from our pet brush and our hair straightener and like combs and things like that, another thing that you can use to really bring your amigurumi to the next level is any material that's going to help kind of create scaffolding. So if you look at this Minecraft zombie that I made right here, you can see the corners and everything are really sharp. He is still squishy, but inside here, in order to get this very, very square shape, I have some chipboard. So I made a frame out of chipboard, and then I put a light layer of stuffing between the yarn portion and the chipboard. And that creates that very kind of squishy feel to him still, but the chipboard allows him to keep his very square shape, because trying to crochet squares, especially trying to crochet square amigurumi, once you stuff it, it's not going to maintain that kind of square shape. So if you're trying to create a very specific shape and you want it to hold that shape, consider using things that can work as basically scaffolding. In this case, I used chipboard, but you can also use things like pipe cleaners or wires or anything like that to help shape things the way that you want to shape them. Using these different kinds of unusual materials will really enable you to create shapes that you would otherwise not be able to create with just crochet alone. So I definitely love using chipboard or wires or things like that. In this case, I also used little clasps and stuff like that to make earrings. There's a lot of different materials that you can incorporate into your amigurumi to make details that would be pretty much impossible to make with just yarn alone. So don't be afraid to incorporate some unusual materials into your amigurumi in order to create whatever effects you're looking to create. Okay, and this last tip is more for people who want to modify amigurumi patterns or make something just out of their own imagination instead of using a crochet pattern. And that is to think of your work not as the complete piece, but think of it as its individual shapes. This is something that professionally trained artists are taught to do. So I have my bachelor's degree in art, and in school we learned to think of things this way. So you're not drawing a chair, you're drawing a series of rectangles, basically. So this is going to be a little bit of a mindset shift here. But when you are making something that's purely from your own imagination, or let's say you're trying to make a character and you can't find a pattern that you really, really like, and you just want to make it from your own imagination. Let's say you want to do Eevee. Don't crochet Eevee. Crochet a ball and some tubes and some small circles and some ovals. That is what Eevee is. Eevee is not Eevee. Eevee is a bunch of circles and ovals, and that is it. This really only applies if you are not working with a pattern. Now, if you are working with a pattern, you don't really need to think about stuff like that. You just follow the pattern, is probably fine. But if you're looking to make something from your own imagination, or you're looking to make a character where you can't find a pattern that you're really satisfied with, learning to think of things in shapes is going to make it a lot easier for you to bring something that's in your imagination into the outside world. So what do you do with that information? Well, you get really good at crocheting a lot of different shapes. So if you just want to take time to practice or anything like that, there are a lot of different patterns out there that are just for shapes. So if you want to crochet a ball, if you want to crochet just like an oval or a diamond shape, if you want to crochet like a long tube, something like that, practice those things. Learn how to make the shapes that you want to make, and then you'll be able to make pretty much anything that you can imagine as long as you can think about it in shapes. Once you start seeing your project as a bunch of Lego pieces, basically, the creative possibilities are endless. All right, so those are my tips to help you take your amigurumi from homemade to heirloom level cute. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Are there any kind of unusual methodologies that you like to use that I didn't mention in this video? Any kind of unusual supplies? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to see it. All right, so if you stuck around to the end of this video, thank you so much. It really helps the channel when you watch the entire video instead of leaving after 2 minutes. As always, thank you so much for watching my video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more crochet tutorials and more crochet advice. If you want to see what else I'm working on, not just crochet, check out the Studio Crafty Side Quests channel where I do all kinds of different crafts, not just crochet. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!